Good evening and welcome to Channel 8 Sports and East Brunswick High School Soccer. Hi, I'm John Meggiolaro for tonight's East Brunswick-Monroe soccer game, boys soccer that is. And we come to you from the J. Doyle High School Stadium, where East Brunswick comes in 9-1 rather, and Monroe Township 7-2. Monroe is a Group 1 powerhouse, and somewhat unusual that they're playing East Brunswick. But there is a natural rivalry already on the field, and that is Coach Dan Hastings and the Monroe coach, George Packard, were former East Brunswick teammates. The game underway, East Brunswick in the white jerseys, Monroe in the purple. This could be an exciting game. Monroe right away putting some pressure on. Quickly, East Brunswick's lineup. Hockman in goal. Mayer outside back. Nestor sweeper. Tharney stopper. Kutza midfielder. Halpern midfielder. Gagumas striker. Tatara striker. Magoo midfielder. And Moffitt outside backer. We already have a timeout as one of the Monroe players is down on the ground. Not sure what happened. And Phil Hostler, the East Brunswick trainer, will go out, see if he can assist in some way. East Brunswick ranked both county and state in the rankings, quite high. Leading the GMC. Coming in with a 9-1 record, and up is the player from Monroe, and we must apologize, we don't have any numbers on the Monroe players. So play will resume here. Threat of rain is looming, and that's always a concern for us since we're outdoors with all the equipment. But we'll go as far as we can with you tonight. Again, East Brunswick Monroe, somewhat of an unusual matchup in that Monroe is a Group 1 school. And East Brunswick will put it back in action. Monroe coming over a 1-0 victory over South River on Monday. East Brunswick having a fairly easy time with their schedule thus far. And East Brunswick thus far has not been on the offensive. They've been playing mostly defense, but here's their first opportunity to put a little pressure on Monroe. Shot up and over. Monroe trying to get it out of its own territory. Whistle. Could be against East Brunswick. Monroe will quickly put it in play. And a player taken out. He's back up on his feet. That's a Monroe player, went down. Hard tackle by one of the East Brunswick defenders. Shot toward goal. East Brunswick on the move. Daly, he's the quarterback of this club, so to speak. That's he, number 20. Trying to get something going. Back to Moffitt. Trying to punch it in the center. Here's an opportunity. And good defense by Monroe. And you can see Monroe's a tough, tenacious team. Action going back and forth thus far. First period action, we have 15:30 left. No score. Alpern sending it down to the wing. And Monroe showing you why they're 7-2 coming into this game. Well-coached club, well-schooled in the fundamentals. And they mirror a lot of what East Brunswick does on the field. Daly trying to get it out to Magoo on the corner. And again, Monroe able to shut off an apparent drive. Daly will try it again. They got it inside. Shot right to the goalie. Shot was taken by Gagumis. Excellent play by the Monroe goalie. And the whistle's going to be blown. Go over to East Brunswick. Moffitt, number 13, put it in play. Good shot toward the goal. And Monroe dodges another one. And a little too quick for the official. So East Brunswick will crank it up once again. It's Tatara, number 9. Monroe hanging tough thus far. East Brunswick unable to penetrate their defense. And you can see the effects of the wind on that ball. Just pushed it back. Daly sends it down, no one there. .12:10 remaining here in the first period. J. Doyle Field, East Brunswick and Monroe. Kutza with a good head. Go over to Monroe. And Monroe having a tough time getting past the East Brunswick defense. Back to Daly. He'll try to center it and get it going again. Kutza has an opportunity. Taken away by Monroe. And they'll blow that play right there. Go over to East Brunswick. And again, Daly trying to move a little quick on it, or too quick for the official. We'll give and go. Daly looks to get it outside to Halpern, and he does. Halpern crosses. East Brunswick Nagu gets a foot on it, but it's blocked by Monroe. It'll be a throw in. And again, good defense. Tharney. Halpern. Gugumas to Tharney. Monroe's there again. Nestor, not a good foot that time. Well, East Brunswick certainly has been in the Monroe area of the field, but thus far have been stopped by a good, solid defense. Monroe trying to get something going. Nestor clears it out, and Daly picks it up. Well, it's back and forth thus far. Still in the first period, no score. And excellent soccer being played by both teams. Halpern slides away. And we'll have our first corner kick of the evening. Halpern lays it up, head, but right to the goal. Tatara with the head, but right to the goalie. So two good shots on goal for the Bears, but thus far nothing to show for it. Halpern will send it across for Magoo, but the goalie comes out. As we mentioned, we do not have any names or numbers for the Monroe team, so I apologize. Cannot identify those players for you. Halpern on the wing. Still has a chance, puts a foot on it. It's goal! With 7:25. Dave Halpern. And East Brunswick goes on the board first. And up to that point, it was a hard-fought game thus far. I mean, Monroe showing great defensive ability. But Halpern was able to get free on the wing and just get a left foot on it. Past the goalie into the right upper corner of the goal. And East Brunswick is on top 1-0. That's Halpern again on a wing and can't control it. Got a good feed inside from Frank Pepe. Shot, that should be easy for Hockman rather. And Hockman kicking that ball into the wind. Ball just held up there. Fans reacting to a Monroe fan, a little upset by the call. Obviously, it'll have no effect on the game, and play will be turned over to Monroe. The official's a little slow there. Gumis and Tatara are chasing after it. Just could not catch up to it. We have 5:15 left in the first period. If you're just joining us, it's East Brunswick against Monroe here at J. Doyle Field. Bears on top 1-0 on a goal by Dave Halpern that came at 7:25 of the period. We mentioned Monroe comes in with a 7-2 record, East Brunswick 9-1. East Brunswick's only lost to St. Benedict's. East Brunswick has been putting pressure on the Monroe defense. Halpern crosses, but it's deflected off a Monroe player. Moffett keeping it alive. This is Pepe trying to get it inside to Daly. And a push against Monroe. That's a push against Weintraub for East Brunswick. And Monroe trying to lay it up front of the goal, hoping that someone can catch up to it. Thus far, they've been unsuccessful. Ball is still alive. The goalie came out, went off him. Gagumas trying to keep it going for East Brunswick. And I thought they'd call a whistle. Gagumas looked as though there might be a dangerous kick involved. Got away with it, the ball off the goalie, but saved by a Monroe defensive player. Monroe ducks away from a potential goal there. And East Brunswick's lead is still 1-0. Halpern crosses. Daly trying to get it to the outside. Halpern will control it. Good setup to Halpern by Dickinson. Shot by Halpern. Cross, and Gagumas over the net. Well set up, however. Monroe will make a substitution. East Brunswick looking to get Tatara back in the game. Clock ticking down. Inside a minute and a half left in the period. Daly keeps it alive. Gaffin controls it. Looking for some help now. Centers it across to Gagumas, a little too far. And a whistle. Have the ball go over to Monroe. 35 seconds remaining here in the first period. East Brunswick on top, 1-0. Monroe sends it down. Really seems to be no strategy involved, just kicking it straight ahead. And have really not put much pressure, if any, on Hockman, other than the first 30 seconds of the game. Foreman sends it down. 5 seconds remaining. And another whistle. And that'll do it. First period is over here at J. Doyle Field. The Bears on top, 1-0. Well played game by both teams. East Brunswick able to crack the Monroe defense at 7:25 of the period. Dave Halpern scoring. But this is going to be a tough match for East Brunswick. Monroe, very tough, tenacious team. Kind of taking on the characteristics of their coach, George Packard, who, again, was a former East Brunswick High School soccer player and a teammate of Dan Hastings, the head coach of East Brunswick. So we'll be getting ready for the next 20 minutes as we watch East Brunswick on the sides preparing for the start of the second period. Dan Hastings has done a remarkable job in taking this program to where it is presently. Last year, a disappointing loss in the Group 4 state finals, but only 2 teams get there. And so it really says something about where this program's at and where it will be going in the future. East Brunswick waiting for Monroe to come out. Yeah, I don't think there's much Monroe needs to do, at least defensively. They've played a good game. I think if there's any strategy to be discussed, it would certainly have to be on the offensive side, where Monroe seems content in just kicking the ball down and hoping that someone can catch up to it. And thus far, it has not proved to be a good strategy as they trail 1-0. And the teams will switch sides. East Brunswick will be moving left to right now. And we'll try to pick up some of the East Brunswick players as we go along. And here we go. This is Magoo. And Tatara has his legs taken out from under him. And a push there. And this game has all the indications of getting rough. A lot of whistles blown thus far in the first period, and seems to have picked up again at the start of the second period. East Brunswick calmly getting back on defense. Ball still alive. Again, Monroe just sending it down. Let's see if they try to coordinate something here on this throw-in. Again, no apparent offensive strategy. Good throw-in by the Monroe player. East Brunswick able to clear it safely away from its end. There's an opportunity for Monroe. Let's see if they simply kicking it through. Good play by Hockman. Had difficulty getting his hands on it. Kept it away from the Monroe player until he had a chance to fall on it. And Monroe's going to have to show a little more innovation and creativity on offense if they want to get in this game. And the official wants the ball moved to the right spot. Hockman, ball's alive. And I believe they're going to call a handball on Nestor, and he had nothing he could do. Saved the goal, however. And Monroe will have a direct kick, and you can see the East Brunswick players lining up in the goal. Monroe's best opportunity tonight thus far with 17:09 left, and dump it off. And it didn't work, and I really question that. Strategy fails, so East Brunswick dodges a bullet. They maintain their 1-0 lead. Hockman sends it away. They'll go over to Monroe. Puts a nice feed. Magoo, shot. Just couldn't settle the ball. He didn't have the time. The defensive player was coming up on him. So East Brunswick continuing to put some heat and pressure on Monroe's defense. Kuta keeps it alive to Halpern. Halpern to Dickinson. And they'll call a push against Dickinson. Good defense by Nestor. And they'll send it back to Hockman. Let him take a free kick at it here. And he gets a good boot away. Kutza. Inside of 15 minutes now as Pepe comes in, second period. East Brunswick on top, 1-0. Magoo. Crosses shot, and it's saved by the goalie. Good play for Monroe. Magoo's getting his opportunities on that right wing. Puts a hanging in there to keep the ball in play for the Bears. Monroe's defense responds, however. Nestor doing his job back on defense. Daly will set things up. Tries to get Magoo on the wing. Still has it. A little too much that time. Dickinson will just send it out. It was off Monroe. Goo sends it down. Tatara shot wide right. Good pass. And unfortunately the angle was such that Tatara could not squeeze it in. But this game is starting to open up for East Brunswick in terms of their offense. With 12:30 left here in the second period. And it looks as though East Brunswick's team speed and conditioning are starting to come into play here in the second period. Nestor sends it down deep. East Brunswick looking to set something up. Kagumas. And a whistle will be blown. East Brunswick in good opportunity here. Cross for Tatara. A little bit too much. again, East Brunswick will have a good opportunity. Halpern will come in. And Halpern comes out. Dickinson gets it into the middle to Tara. Centers it over. Good pass. And East Brunswick unable to convert on an opportunity there. And Monroe trying to get something going. If you're just joining us, you're watching boys soccer, East Brunswick against Monroe. Bears on top 1-0 with 9:15 left here in the second period at J. Doyle Field. I'm John Meggiolaro, joining you tonight. And joining you without my usual cohort, Jim Allender. So I will do my best to try to keep it interesting for you. I think the action really speaks for itself. And let's see if Monroe tries to get something going here. Of late, they have not really employed anything resembling a strategy to score. Here's an opportunity. Hockman comes out and he blocks it. Great play. Brandon Hockman in goal. Tremendous save to preserve East Brunswick's 1-0 lead. Throw in for Monroe. And East Brunswick's defense has been extraordinary tonight. Clock moving down to 7 minutes remaining here in the second period. We'll send it down. Monroe sends it directly to Hockman. No chance of getting any help on that. East Brunswick will try to come back now and put on some pressure. Send it down to Tara. You see the speed that he has. And some substitutions for East Brunswick. Gaffin comes in, Daly comes back in. Daly looking, slips. And the Monroe player steps right over him. So East Brunswick will have a chance here to get something going. And they'll set something up formally. they were looking for Tatara on the wing. He was shielded from the ball. Daly keeps it alive. Slips it over to Pepe. Pepe lofts it. Tatara on the head. Won't go. Offsides, it's called. And a whistle stops play again. Gaffin tried to get control of it, lost it. But East Brunswick able to settle it down and set things up. I think that's where the real difference is. You can see East Brunswick sets plays up, looking for one another, unlike Monroe, who really just seems to be booting it away. Monroe fans hoping for something here, but again, East Brunswick able to shut it down. Dickinson sending it downfield. And a trip will be called against East Brunswick. 3:30 left in the period. Our only score came at 7:25 of the first period. Dave Halpern putting it in for East Brunswick. And I believe that was Nestor able to get ahead on it and deflect it away from the goal. And East Brunswick taking its time. A lot of pushing and shoving going on. We've had a lot of whistles thus far. Hockman will take it himself. Quickly sends it out to Pepe. East Brunswick gets back on defense quickly enough. And that has really been East Brunswick's strength this evening. That team speed to get back on defense and shut down Monroe. Hockman makes a nice play on a head off one of his own players. Moving into 1 minute and 30 seconds left in the period. And Monroe just wildly taking shots at goal. Inside a minute now. And the official forcing Monroe to move the ball back to the spot of the infraction. And again, Hockman comes out, punches it away. So this first half has been characterized by great defense by East Brunswick, and an offense that I think is going to really open up for him in the second half, as they seem to be putting a lot of pressure on Monroe, although it's only yielded 1 goal. 15 seconds remaining. And unless something unforeseen happens, East Brunswick should go in at half with a 1-0 lead. And that should do it. And it's halftime here at J. Doyle Field. The Bears on top, 1-0. And we'll come back with the start of the second half in just a moment.